They say the perfect beauty of Mayon Volcano hides a tragic love story. The story of Daragang Magayon, the most beautiful maiden of Albay. It's a tale whispered on the wind, a legend as timeless as the mountain itself. Our journey begins long ago, in the ancient land of Ibalan, known today as the Bicol region of the Philippines. This was a place of breathtaking beauty, ruled by powerful chieftains and inhabited by brave warriors. But among all its wonders, none could compare to the beauty of Daragang Magayon. Her name literally means beautiful maiden, and she was the daughter of the kind and wise chieftain Makasog. News of her grace and charm traveled far and wide, drawing suitors from every corner of the land. Princes and warriors came bearing lavish gifts, hoping to win her affection. But Magayon's heart remained untouched. She was kind to all, but her spirit longed for a love that was true, a connection that went deeper than riches or titles. She spent her days by the Yawa River, her favorite place, where the waters flowed as freely as her spirit. One fateful morning, as Magayon was bathing, the river's current suddenly grew strong and treacherous. She slipped on a mossy rock and was swept away by the raging waters. Her cries for help were nearly lost in the roar of the river. Just as she was about to be pulled under, a strong arm reached out and pulled her to safety. Her rescuer was a stranger, a young man with a brave heart and kind eyes. He was Panginoran, a warrior from the Tagalog region to the north. He had journeyed to Ibalan to see the famed beauty of the land, but he never expected to find it in the eyes of the woman he had just saved. From that moment, their souls were bound like earth and sky. Panginoran was everything Magayon had ever dreamed of. He was not just brave, but also gentle and respectful. He didn't try to win her with gold or promises of power. Instead, he won her with his genuine heart. He stayed in Ibalan, and every day he would visit Magayon, sharing stories of his homeland and listening to her dreams for her people. Their love blossomed under the warm Bicol sun, a love pure and destined. The people of Ibalan rejoiced when Magayon and Panginoran announced their love. Chieftain Makasog, seeing the happiness in his daughter's eyes, gave them his blessing. A grand wedding was planned, and the entire kingdom prepared to celebrate the union of two souls who were clearly meant for each other. The air was filled with excitement and joy. It seemed like a perfect fairy tale, a love story for the ages. But, as we all know, even the brightest light can cast a dark shadow, and in the land of Ibalan, that shadow was cast by a man named Pagtuga. Pagtuga was a powerful and arrogant chieftain from the nearby tribe of Iriga. He was one of Magayon's most persistent suitors, and he was consumed by jealousy. He could not accept that Magayon had chosen a stranger, an outsider, over him. His pride was wounded, and his heart filled with a burning rage. He believed that if he couldn't have Magayon, then no one could. While the kingdom celebrated, Pagtuga plotted his revenge. His mind clouded by envy and a thirst for power. He watched from a distance, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, to shatter the happiness that he so desperately craved for himself. Blinded by his obsessive envy, Pagtuga devised a cruel and wicked plan. He knew that Magayon loved her father, Chieftain Makasog, more than anything in the world. So, under the cover of darkness, Pagtuga and his warriors ambushed the old chieftain and took him captive. The next day, a grim message arrived for Magayon. Pagtuga demanded her hand in marriage. If she refused, her father would be killed. Magayon's world crumbled around her. The joy and excitement she had felt were replaced by fear and despair. She was trapped, forced to choose between her own happiness and the life of her beloved father. Her heart ached for Panginoran, for the life they had planned together. But she could not bear the thought of her father being harmed. With tears streaming down her face and her heart heavy with sorrow, Magayon made the ultimate sacrifice. She sent word to Pagtuga that she would agree to his demand. She would marry him to save her father. The news of Magayon's decision spread like wildfire, extinguishing the festive mood in Egypt. The kingdom was plunged into a state of shock and sadness. Panganoran was devastated. He couldn't believe that the love of his life was being forced into a marriage with his rival. But Panganoran was not a man who gave up easily. He was a warrior, and he would fight for his love. The day of the forced wedding arrived, a day that should have been a celebration but instead felt like a funeral. The sky itself seemed to mourn, covered in a blanket of grey clouds. Pagtuga paraded through the village, arrogant and triumphant, with Magayon by his side, her face a mask of grief. But destiny, as it often does, had other plans. Just as the wedding ceremony was about to begin, a war cry echoed through the air. Panganoran and his loyal warriors had arrived. A fierce battle erupted. The clash of steel and the shouts of warriors filled the village square. Panganoran fought with the strength of a man whose heart was on the line, cutting down Pagtuga's men one by one. He had only one goal: to reach Magayon and free her from this nightmare. He finally fought his way to Pagtuga, and the two rivals engaged in a ferocious duel. It was a battle of love against hate, of honor against jealousy. Panganoran, fueled by his love for Magayon, was the superior warrior. With a final, decisive blow, he struck Pagtuga down. The crowd roared in relief. Love had triumphed. Magayon cried out Panganoran's name and ran towards him, her heart soaring with hope. They were finally free. They could be together. But in the chaos of the battle's end, a lone arrow, shot by one of Pagtuga's remaining men, flew through the air. It found its mark in Panganoran's back, striking him near his heart. He stumbled and fell, his eyes wide with shock. Magayon screamed, a sound of pure anguish, and rushed to his side, cradling his head in her lap. She saw the life fading from his eyes, the man she loved more than life itself, dying in her arms. In her overwhelming grief, she didn't see another arrow coming. This one, meant for Panganoran, struck her instead. As she fell, she reached for him, their hands clasping one last time. In that tragic moment, they died together, their love story ending in a heartbreaking embrace. The entire kingdom wept. The joyous celebration they had planned turned into a somber funeral. Chieftain Makasog, heartbroken by the loss of his daughter and the brave warrior she loved, had them buried together in a single grave, so they could be together for eternity. Days turned into weeks, and the people of Ibalan mourned their lost princess and her hero. Then, something incredible began to happen. The earth where Magayon and Panganoran were buried started to tremble. Slowly, day by day, the land began to rise. It grew higher and higher, reaching for the heavens. The people watched in awe and wonder as a mountain began to form, a perfect, symmetrical cone rising from the flat plains. Its slopes were smooth, its peak majestic, a monument of breathtaking beauty. The people knew this was no ordinary mountain. It was a tribute to their beloved Daragang Magayon. They named it Mayon in her honor. And so, the legend was born. The elders say that the volcano's perfect shape represents Magayon's unparalleled beauty. The clouds that often gather around its peak are said to be the spirit of Panganoran, gently kissing his beloved, and the small tremors and rumblings. That's the sound of their hearts, beating as one for all eternity. But the story doesn't end there. When Mayon Volcano erupts, when rivers of fiery lava flow down its sides and plumes of ash shoot into the sky, the local people don't just see a natural disaster. They see something more. The elders say that this is the final act of their story. It is Pagtuga, still burning with rage from the afterlife, trying to disrupt their eternal peace. But the lava that flows is also seen as the fiery passion of Panganoran and Magayon, embracing once more their love, burning brighter and more powerfully than any fire beneath the earth. It's their way of showing the world that true love is eternal, that it can overcome jealousy, hatred, and even death itself. And so, every time you look at the magnificent Mayon Volcano, remember the story of Daragang Magayon and Panganoran. Remember their sacrifice, their devotion, and their undying love that shaped a mountain and created a legend that will live on forever. Their love story is a powerful reminder that even in tragedy there can be incredible beauty, and that love is the most powerful force in the universe. Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of the Philippines' most beautiful and tragic legends. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from around the world. See you next time.